Okay, welcome to the next community and development update number 14 of the 27th of July 2014. Um, we have with us today Evil Dave, Silvio, who says he's just going to hang in a corner, and we have Tosh, who wants to talk about a music initiative that will launch within 2 weeks. There are a few topics that we're going to cover today. The upcoming new release of the NXT client, which is probably version 1.2.2, which will feature the digital goods store, alias exchange, and encrypted messaging. And we want to give a small update about next.org. We have a few, we want to cover the multi-gateway, which has launched and is really beginning to grow at this moment. And if people drop in, you're still free to drop in. You have the link on the forums. Then you're more than welcome to talk about your project or your ideas. Dave, do you want
Baz!
Do you want to start off with things that are going on with exchanges, running exchanges, upcoming exchanges?
Okay, well, I should point out just before I actually start giving out lots of information that I'm currently sat on a mountaintop in Switzerland, and I've been kind of out of the loop for the last week or so since the last hangout. So if I make any little mistakes or I'm not completely up to date, feel absolutely free to correct me. And at the last hangout, we had just finished with getting Next listed on a Danish exchange, CCEDK, which offered us, as well as the usual cryptocurrency trading options, quite a large number of options in fiat currencies. For example, all of the Scandinavian currencies from Sweden, Denmark, Norway were all handleable, as well as euros and US dollars. And over the last week, trading has been picking up pretty nicely on CCEDK. It isn't exactly gone, it's not exactly the world's largest next trading market, but it is building up very, very nicely, and we're getting lots of new users coming in pretty much every day. So the trading volume is working its way up quite well. As well as the sort of trading aspects of CCEDK, the CEO of CCEDK has become quite an enthusiastic Nexter. So I'd just like to say, hi Ronnie, thanks for everything you've been doing for us. And he's been helping us a lot with marketing. So many of the stories that you will have been seeing about Next over the last week or so, for example on Bloomberg, came in fact from Ronnie. So he's really being quite an asset for the Next community. So I'd like to say to everybody who's getting the urge to sell some Next or trade some Next, to get your asses over to ccedk.com, check it out, make a deposit, do some trading, withdraw some dollars or euros, whatever you like to do, but support them. It's a really excellent exchange and a real asset for Next at the moment.
Okay.
We are obviously working on exchange integration or getting exchange listings with a number of other exchanges. So we've got about, I think, another 3 or 4 in the pipeline that are coming up at the moment. And I think by the end of August, I think, yeah, at least 3 or 4 of those will have actually listed Next. So I hate to actually bet my entire life on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be happening.
I saw that
that's pretty.
I saw that we were listed on HitBTC as being coming soon. Do you know anything about that?
We've been listed on HitBTC as coming soon for approximately 3 weeks now.
Oh.
And HitBTC appear to be a very good, very professional exchange, but they're not all that good at communicating with us. So I've spoken to one of their customer service representatives. I've sent zillions of emails. Other people have also sent mails and attempted to get in contact with them, but they're not very communicative. So right now all I can say is that we are coming soon. And once I get off my Swiss mountaintop, I will actually get in contact with them or make another attempt at contacting them to see what the exact status is.
Okay.
In fact, one of the exchanges that I'd like to go for next would in fact be SwissX, which is swisscex.com. Again, they look like a very, very together and professional exchange, and I think they could probably use the trading volume from Next, to be entirely honest. But yeah, that's all going to be coming up in the future.
Yeah.
Baz, back to you, mate.
Okay, thank you. One of the most exciting things probably to mention at this moment is that we are very near to a new release of the next client of Next, which is version 1.2.2 as far as I know. I see that Come From Beyond right now is in the channel, so maybe he can give us some idea on the ETA. If not, that's also good. I have heard that the ETA, that the release date would be the 1st of August, at least around that time. The new version will include several new features. One of the most exciting ones, I think, is the digital goods store, which has some fairly interesting new possibilities for what we can do with Next. The digital goods store allows you basically... Dave, could you write the question in the chat, please? So I can't talk.
Yeah, I'm just about to have a little word with CFB.
Okay. The digital goods store is an online store built into Next for digital goods, and one of the things that we already know that's going to happen is that there is going to be a release of an EP, a music album, on it on the 15th of August. This is something that one of our members called Tush 110 has been instrumental in making the contacts with this Berlin indie band. And the digital goods store will of course be very interesting for both indie music, indie gamers, or the whole indie scene who doesn't have a direct line to distributors, and they could just put out their music or their games on the digital goods store and trade them directly, so take control of their own distribution. This is something that we're going to work on to reach out anyway to all these groups. But if people have contact within these separate worlds, I would be very interested in getting into contact with these people so we can really make the digital goods store available to all these people, because I think it's one of the biggest markets that we can tap at this moment. Another thing.
Okay, if I can stick my nose.
Stick it in.
I was going to stick my nose in there on the. Yeah, I know it's a big long nose.
Yeah.
So on the digital goods store and the music industry, what we can see at the moment as being the perfect market for the DGS is basically indie music and beginning bands, small artists, guys who are stuck at the moment in between the stage of actually gigging and producing material, but not yet having any sort of serious record deal. With the DGS, as long as they can actually produce material and place it on the DGS and create a structure to generate revenue from it, they won't actually need a record deal. Obviously, might be useful for such things as chart positioning, but in terms of actually making that step from selling self-created CDs or MP3s out of the back of the tour bus to actually going to getting their music out there in a distribution system, that's what the DGS is all about. So I'd like to say to anybody who's involved with the music scene, or has a band, or whatever, get in touch with us. And particularly get in touch with me.
I see you can hear me now?
Yes. Hi, Tosh.
Ah, okay, perfect. Because you may have heard that I'm in contact with a musician here in Berlin, and he's ready to publish his first EP on the Digital Word Store on the 15th of August.
Yes, this is Sinan Boom, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sinanboom.com for anyone who wants to look for that. Could you tell?
I've just started building this website. It's not finished yet, but our plan is to. He's been working on this EP since I don't know, like 3 or 4 months now. He's a young musician from Berlin and producer, so he has invited several musicians to collect this EP together, and has worked with a lot of musicians around Berlin. So this might break out in Berlin as soon as this is successful.
Okay, and how did you get into contact with this person? Is it a personal friend of yours?
Yes,
or?
it's a personal friend.
Okay, great. Dave?
So yes, our plan is to have 7 soundtracks ready for the 15th with videos, and we're going to put every single of them on the Digital Boot Store and the whole EP listing as well.
Could you repeat that one more time?
I have a little question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, my little question was digital goods store and digital rights management. I am completely correct in assuming that there is no form of DRM on digital goods store releases?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either.
What is the question? I don't understand it.
Okay, so that was basically... Okay, I was simply wondering if there was any form of digital rights management attached to the DGS.
No,
it's a little bit of a question off at a tangent, but it's
out download links as soon as somebody has purchased it on the digital goods store.
Okay.
Does it fit to your question?
Okay.
Yeah, I was purely and utterly curious about that, because although I was,
Okay, no, there's nothing inbuilt as far as we know. There's probably there are methods to do it yourself from the download link, but there's nothing to do it within the digital goods store. That's up to yourself, just like anything within NXT.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what comes from beyond here.
Okay, so if anybody did want to, in fact, implement some form of DRM on their music or content, that will be down to them.
Yeah, it's basically what Come From Beyond says here in the chat, is the digital goods store is not censored and stuff sold there is not controlled after delivery. So if you basically put a key in yourself and only do, but then you would need a different system to manage the key. But Next itself, just like the asset exchange and anything within NXT, doesn't have those kinds of systems inbuilt.
Yeah. Okay, well that's absolutely fine with me, because I'm all about the freedom of pretty much everything. Though obviously it's nice that other people, if they wish to restrict the distribution of their content, will have the option to add that on themselves.
I could imagine
at the delivery end rather than at the digital goods store end.
Yeah, but just like anything, I would imagine that it's up to the people who put it on there.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it for them.
Well, that's what Next is all about. We provide the tools.
And any crypto, probably. Tosh, is there anything more?
I guess that's it. We're going to sell the album starting the 15th and going to list it on the digital.
Is there any Tosh?
15th of August will be the launch of Sinan Boom. For anyone watching this, I put the link to their SoundCloud into the YouTube of this video. So if you want to listen to the music beforehand, you can do so on the SoundCloud page.
Thank you.
No problem. Another thing that's going to be implemented in the new release will will be encrypted messages. I already mentioned this last week. At this moment, of course, you can encrypt, but then you need to do the encryption yourself. From the next release on, messages on the blockchain can be directly. There is an option in the client to encrypt them. Before this was implemented, it led to the discovery that it wasn't encrypted within the nextblocks.info site, which you could read some fairly interesting conversations on the blockchain. That was unexpected. Not everybody knew it. So when it comes out, you now have the option to encrypt your messages. Another thing that's coming out in the new release is alias trading, or at least the possibility to transfer aliases to other accounts. I do not really know, but perhaps Come From Beyond can put it in the chat for us, is if it's possible to trade them. As far as I have seen, it's possible to price them, so if you want to register an alias that's already taken, you will be shown the account that it is registered to with the price that this person has attached to it. And it's also, of course, possible to trade them directly on the forum or any other, maybe sites. I know some sites are being developed for this. So people who have registered aliases can now sell them, and people who still have ideas for good aliases which can be redirected to, for instance, sites or accounts, can now start registering them and make some money off them. Any comments on this from people on the chat?
As usual, I have something to say. I'm not sure if this really needs clarification, but I should point out here that an alias is basically a plain text replacement, or plain text, should we say, plain text indicator to your next account number. So that if, for example, somebody has the sudden urge to give you an extremely large pile of money, instead of having to find your actual next account number in either its numeric or its Reed-Solomon format, they can simply use your alias. So, for example, if somebody listening to my voice right now suddenly has the urge to give me $1 million next, they don't actually have to know my account number. They simply have to know that I am Evil Dave and that I've registered the alias Evil Dave. That way you can find me to make donations or make payments to me. So aliases are a very, very powerful feature of Next, because they make the process of actually finding somebody to make a payment or a donation very, very simple.
As long as
just thought I'd add that for anybody who doesn't actually know what the alias system is.
Yeah, as long as this person has.
Yeah, and I just thought I'd get a little plug in for myself as well at the same time.
Yeah, but what happens if someone has squatted your alias?
Yep, so you always have to double check.
Okay. And the
well, then in that case, I will go around their house with a baseball bat.
Okay, taken. Point taken. Okay, let's move on to a very exciting next topic, which is the multi-gateway. Multi-gateway has been launched for a few weeks now. I'll quickly explain what the multi-gateway is. The multi-gateway is a decentralized exchange for cryptocurrencies. At least that's what it's meant to do. It's been coded and developed by JL777, who has also several assets to his name, one of which, JLH, is at this moment traded on Poloniex, the first asset basically to make a breakout to a normal exchange. And now he basically has an exchange which is decentralized, making use of the multi-signature and the asset exchange. The multi-gateway system is still considered a beta, so it is still in development, but it is working on the mainnet. At this moment, it is able to process BTC and LTC, so Bitcoin and Litecoin, and they are at this moment working on Darkcoin, Bitcoin Dark, Doge, and Vericoin, and they are going to add Maxcoin, Startcoin, Gearcoin, and Earthcoin. These are coins that are actively being added. The multi-gateway is, for me at least, very exciting because it does something that we are looking for a long time already. Is we have all these cryptocurrencies. We all want to decentralize things. One of the largest and the largest accusation you can make to any cryptocurrency is that it's centralized. That's basically, if you say that, you have a fight on your hands. And the strange thing is that we still have to rely on centralized exchanges. The multi-gateway as it is uses at this moment for every coin that is put on there, 3 different servers. This is where the multi-signature feature comes in to check the transactions. So no transaction can be done by just one server. It's also always checked by 3 servers. It's not, and this I need to stress, a completely trustless solution. James, who's called JL77, has already said this is not completely trustless, but it's a lot more trustless than any exchange out there. So it's a very big move in the right direction, and we are offering this at this moment to several coin communities out there. Any coin that has multi-signature built in or activated can use this, and any coin that is very much like the Bitcoin D can be put on there too. It takes a bit of time, and you probably will have to talk to the developers, but if you're listening to this or you're part of another community and you want your coin on the multi-gateway, please contact JL77 or Van Breuk on the forums, and they will be happy to help you with putting it on there. We're also still looking for people who will be able to run servers for it. So if you're up for that and you want to support building a decentralized exchange, or at least expanding it, feel free to contact them. Dave, you always have something to say.
Dude, generally I do, and on multi-gateway I don't have a hell of a lot to say because you've covered pretty much all of it. So I'm just going to do a very swift recap. The multi-gateway offers, I'm not sure if decentralized is a good way to put it, because each coin pair will be running on a triple set of servers. So it's not completely decentralized. However, if you look at the multi-gateway system as it will be, you will find that Bitcoin will be running on one group of servers, Litecoin on another group of servers, Noblecoin, Earthcoin, etc., all on their own separate sets of servers. So in that sense, it will be a decentralized exchange, but each coin pair you could probably see more as a distributed exchange rather than truly decentralized.
Yeah.
But that is only a minor detail. The reason that we're using 3 servers is to simply ensure security and redundancy. That is something very, very important to stress. Each server is a mirror, basically, of the other 2, and all of the servers have to agree on a particular transaction to allow that transaction to be carried out. That's why we need to have multi-sig on any coins at the moment that get listed on the multi-gateway. Yeah? Using this troika of servers makes it virtually impossible, well, virtually impossible, I say, for any bad guy to influence the exchange in any way. And again, as I say, hence the need for multi-sig. So if you're a member of a coin community that currently supports multi-sig, and you would like to have yourself on the next multi-gateway exchange, as Paz said, get in contact with us, because it's relatively simple and fairly cost-free to get listed on Next. I'm sure many of you are quite familiar with the response from many exchanges, which is when you walk up to them and you go, "Excuse me, could you list evil coin for me, please, mate?" And the first thing the exchange says to you is, "Yes, how big a bribe can you offer us? We've been asked up to $100,000 for listing on an exchange." I don't know about you, but paying out $100,000 just to make some exchange operator richer doesn't really sit all that well with me. So I'd say get your coins onto multi-gateway, guys. And there was another little point I wanted to make about multi-gateway, but it has slipped from my mind for the moment. I'll come back to it if I get a chance. Baz, back to you for a second.
Okay. While Evil Dave is thinking, I just want to...
Sorry, didn't catch that at all.
While Evil Dave is thinking, I just want to give a quick update on next.org. For those who don't know, basically next.org has been taken over by QBTC, who's also responsible for a lot of sites within Next. The best known probably will be nextcommunity.org. She has taken she has taken responsibility for next.org, and it will probably, this is the last news that I just got an hour ago, we'll have it finished within a few hours. I do not know if it will be live immediately, but at least next.org will get a facelift very soon. I've understood that it's going to be immensely simplified. One of the aims of next.org is that it's our entrance. It's the place where completely new users should feel at home. And one of the criticisms that the first iteration of next.org got was that it was still too difficult, or that it was still too hard to find a simple link like where do I download this, the wallet, and how can I use it immediately. This is the aim that QBTC has set for herself, to make it as simple as possible. She is taking responsibility. She has listened to all the tips that people gave her, but she is adamant about that she is going to do it her way this time, at least for the time being. So let's see what comes out of that.
Yep. And I, for one, have complete faith in Elizabeth on this point. So I'm quite excited to see what she has made out of next.org, and it should, if everything goes according to plan, make the process for new people entering Next a hell of a lot simpler. It should be just that one-stop shop where they come up on the front page and are gently led by the hand through the entire process of getting the client downloaded, purchasing their first Next, etc. And that's something that we've been missing for a long time. It's easy to forget that for most of us, operating a computer is pretty much child's play. We've been born and bred to it. But there's a hell of a lot of people out there, and the major target audience for cryptocurrency, who aren't that comfortable with computer use and do need a little bit of help to get themselves sorted out. And that's what next.org is going to be all about.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and I actually, my little thought about multi-gateway kicked back in again. Are we almost finished on next.org?
Yes, go on.
Okay, the multi-gateway thought was simply, maybe you've heard of something called MTGOX? Crypto Rush, various other exchanges. Oh, ShareX coins, for example. Yes, they have been a major recurring problem in crypto, especially over the last year or so. The number of exchanges that start up, operate briefly, grab a large pile of money, and then disappear as quickly as humanly possible. MTGOX is obviously the worst example of this, but I can probably think of another 3 or 4 other examples that have happened recently. And just to plug multi-gateway, we cannot MTGOX you on multi-gateway because your funds will not be stored on the multi-gateway itself. It is simply a means of transferring your funds from one form to another, from Bitcoin to Next, Bitcoin into LTC, whatever the hell you like, but we do not take responsibility for your funds, so there is no possibility that we can accumulate a large pile of somebody else's Bitcoin and then run away with it.
No, and this again is
so that was pretty much my point there.
Yeah, and just to explain what the multi-gateway actually does, like Evil Dave already says, you have triplets, which basically maintain a coin, but it takes advantage of both the multi-signature, that this is where the triplets come in, so the triplets check each other, and the asset exchange. And the asset exchange that's built into Next allows the trade actually to happen. So if you deposit Bitcoin, it gets exchanged into the asset for the multi-gateway for Bitcoin. That asset you exchange against another asset, like the multi-gateway Litecoin, and you can cash out that one to your Litecoin wallet. So every asset represents one coin of that denomination. So it takes advantages of 2 things. One that's not Next specific, that's multi-signature, and the asset exchange with it, which is Next specific. That's basically how it works. Another thing that I would like to say, oh yeah, this is also still one thing that I would like to plug. It's something that's becoming more popular, but it's also good to know. We have now CCEBK, we have Coinomat, we have, by the way, also lightbit.eu. These are all now possibilities to get Next without ever having to touch a Bitcoin or to exchange anymore. These are gateways. So this is where we are also concentrating on to unpeg Next from Bitcoin. So this is in this way an important one. And one that I want to mention again is secureae.com, basically secure asset exchange. This is a gateway in which has an integrated wallet. You can go to the site. You can deposit Bitcoin in this one, so not fiat. This will be converted into Next, and with these Next you can immediately buy assets there. So for people who are interested in assets, but basically do not want to hold Next because they're not that interested in Next as a coin, but they do want to get hold for instance, shares in a specific initiative in a company, they can go to secureae.com. I really like it. It's very easy to use. It's very quick, and it also looks like the wallet we're all used to. So I'm very thankful to these people for having this site.
Yep, it is a very, very, very good thing. And I should also point out that it works not only very well from the point of view of the individual user or individual Next user, but also from the point of view of the asset issuer. Yeah. If somebody wishes to issue an asset that is purely applicable to, say, mainstream folks or to Bitcoin folks or to people who have nothing to do whatsoever with Next, you can list the asset on SecureAE and also on the Next Asset Exchange, but then the audience that you're aiming for does not have to go anywhere near Next whatsoever. No hassling around with client software or buying in Next. They can simply buy everything from the secure AE, never even have to touch Next whatsoever, which, as I say, from the point of view of the asset issuer, makes the process of getting their audience to actually sign on the dotted line a damn sight easier.
Yeah. The whole idea is basically...
That was me stopping talking, by the way.
Yeah, in that way, it's basically rule one of any sales, it's make it easy to buy. What did you say, Dave, by the way? Were you still talking?
And this certainly makes purchase assets a hell of a lot simpler.
Yeah, definitely.
No, not at all.
Okay, I was afraid that I had to cut you off there. Okay, then...
no, not at all. Well, both my internet connection and my equipment at the moment are not the world's best, so...
You have a bit of a delay, that's certain. So if you want to keep talking, please tell me, but it takes some time to get through. One last thing that I would like to ask people, that's not really a personal question, but it is an initiative that I have set up, and I hope that will grow. We've started basically a group that is specifically aimed at professionalizing the marketing and not specifically of Next, but very specifically of these use cases. So we have the multi-gateway, for instance. You almost don't need to mention Next for the multi-gateway. The multi-gateway is great on its own. The digital goods store is also one of these things where you almost don't need to mention Next per se, because it's a great product without even having to know that it's built on Next. I would almost say that we could have the tagline powered by Next, and that's enough. And the name Digital Goods Store would be the name that you put out there in all the things that you do. If people want to join, and especially and people with professional background would be great, please contact me, Damelon, on the forums. If you want to contribute in any other way, helping us on Bitcoin Talk, on Reddit, on Twitter, on Facebook, maybe in any other way, if you have Photoshop skills, if you have knowledge of how to make advertisements, or know people that do this. And in this case, it's not no. If you have this knowledge, if you want to contribute help, please contact me, because we really want a bigger group active in this. And I think that if we make a concentrated push in a nice way on all these products that we have, that we can really increase the awareness of usable things for Next. So we don't only need to say Next is great, but we can also just say, okay, here we have the multi-gateway. And if, for instance, if you're part of a coin community that isn't Next, but another thing, why not just offer it to the developers and say, okay, do you want to go on this one? If you know a musician who basically wants to get his music out, tell them about the Digital Goods Store, because it's certainly possible for them to put their product on there and to start selling. These are all things that can be done, and it would be great if that actually would be done. So please keep that in mind. And if you need help, feel free to contact any one of at least the administrators or some people that are a bit more high profile on the forum. High profile as in talking a lot. Contact them and we can get to... Yeah, it's... Well, I'm worse. But getting contact with us, talk to us, and we can set things up. It's really not all that difficult. It costs time, but it also fun to actually make use of Next in that way, and it's what it's for. So don't be shy. Just ask the question, and we'll see what we can do. This is basically what I did with Earthcoin. I just contacted the developer, and he liked it. So sometimes it's that easy. Just offer it. That's basically what I have. Do you have anything?
I think we're sort of getting around to finishing up here.
Yeah.
But let me think what I want to say here. Basically, what we have been building up to for the last 8 months, and what we have been promising, and what we've been creating and developing, is not purely a cryptocurrency. This is something that a lot of people seem to miss, or that maybe we simply haven't marketed it hard enough. But Next itself is basically like a Lego system. The actual Next currency is the fuel that runs this system. And then everything else can be built on top of the currency utilizing the blockchain. So we are now finally bringing out, well, we've already had the asset exchange, and we can now, very soon we'll be adding the multi-gateway and the digital goods store. This means that you'll be able to trade all cryptocurrencies, a wide variety of electronic stocks and shares, and pretty much anything else you can think of in terms of digital content. So as you can see, we're now building up to being a hell of a lot more than a cryptocurrency and becoming much more of a wide-ranging trading platform for not only cryptocurrencies, but as I say, also for assets and for digital material. And that is really what Next is all about, not purely a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's still one of the most difficult.
Yep.
Yes, you say it, and.
Oh no, that was it. I was finished there. It's just this delay is a little bit tricky to deal with.
Okay. Okay, then I think we'll wrap this one up. So, hopefully this week, if all goes well, new release of NXT, multi-gateway. Contact us if you want your coins added. Contact us if you want to, if you know anyone to do with it. Next.org will be updated this week, and those are the things that I would like everybody to remember for this one. Thank you everyone for being on. Thank you, Tosh, for the information that you gave for the 15th of August release of Sin and Boom. And see you next week.